If you're in property as an investor, developer, it won't have surprised you that the reopening, as needed as it's been, has led to a tale of two cities. In London, in particular, you can't help but have noticed the skyline over the last few weeks, and you would have seen the speed and scale at which large new cranes have been cropping up. The construction industry has been experiencing a different pandemic to other industries like the restaurant industry or the retail industry. In the construction sector, costs are basically rising at the fastest pace since 1997. There's a construction boom going on not just in the UK, but around the world as governments try to build themselves out of this pandemic. The UK housing sector remains underpinned by massive supply-demand imbalances, which have been exacerbated by this pandemic, and is leading to near double-digit inflation in some areas. Last week, IHS Markit released the latest PMI data. It showed that overall construction costs were rising at the fastest pace for 24 years. In the survey, construction firms also said that new orders were rising at the fastest pace they'd seen for almost 7 years. Official data from the Office of National Statistics, I can never say that word, Office of National Statistics showed that construction and infrastructure was the first sector to exceed the pre-pandemic output levels, and that was way back in November last year. Then, in April this year, the government said that it would allow construction companies to claim a super deduction. That means they can claim 130% of all new plant and machinery. Wouldn't you take advantage if you could? I know I would. And it's not just private companies taking advantage. Civil activity has also been increased since April, with Highways England seizing on this opportunity to fast-track some of their projects. And as infrastructure projects like HS2 begin to ramp up post-pandemic and post-lockdown, it's inevitable that the impact they'll have on supply-demand is going to be huge. So there's a demand boom, and demand for building materials has been skyrocketing. As a result, house builders are trying to catch up. This is creating massive shortages of construction materials such as aggregates, timber, steel, cement, concrete products in general. High international demand is also preventing some of the UK buyers from being able to rebuild their stock and go out into the international markets and pick that up. On the one hand, you have strong demand, which is contributing to rising costs. On the other hand, it's leading to much longer wait times for deliveries. The key items that are really in short supply right now include things like timber, roof tiles, roof membranes. Timber has seen an upping in demand, in part because of the renewed focus on green energy and net zero construction. Timber has a large carbon storage potential, so people want to use more of it in constructions now. Imported wood prices rose by 16.6% in March. There's also a shortage of stock for raw materials such as polyethylene and polyurethane and polypropylene. All of these are used in plastic pipes, so meaning plastic prices are going up. You get the picture. Last week, British Steel stopped taking orders for new structural steel sections. Why? Because they said they've seen extreme demand. There are concerns that what they've done is really just led to panic buying as more and more people try to just stock up. But this is making things worse, and fabricated structural steel prices rose by 17.6%. The elephant in the room is Brexit, and Brexit complications haven't helped. In some cases, 80% of construction materials come from Europe. For new builds, this can be as much as 90%. That's according to the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. On the positive side, cement is one material where the vast majority is used in the UK is actually manufactured in the UK as well. But this hasn't stopped cement from being listed on the items facing shortages. Supply has also been hit by production constraints because hauliers are struggling to find people to drive the cement around the country, and prices are up 19.8%. The booming demand has led to booming demand for workers as well. And this is the other element of it, where we're seeing contractors in the commercial market have had a surge in demand for work. As many as labourers are seeing as much as 50% increase in their wages on the one hand. On the flip side, Hayes is saying we're seeing a 50% growth in vacancies. The skills gap is really a long-term issue. Employers are beginning to identify that there is a big skills gap in the construction sector and demand and supply not matching up. According to the Office of National Statistics, 113,000 EU-born professionals currently work in the skilled construction sector. That's down from 208,000, or almost 50% in the last 12 months. So there's a massive skills shortage going on, which is adding to all of this.